Alright, so today I kind of want to do, I don't know, maybe use this for a little bit of helping those out, maybe a beginner, if you're struggling with anything. So I'm going to start like a small little tutorial thing, just on the basics, just to help you out if you need it. So today we're going to learn, or at least practice, how to pan. I'll wait for the cars to go by. Panning with your shot, what you're ultimately trying to do is keep what you're shooting in focus while it's showing motion in the rest of the picture. So say for instance, if a car is doing 45 miles an hour, you want to try and have your shutter speed at 1/45, 1/45 of a second. And then while you're panning with it, you follow the car. You want to keep the car in focus, and everything else is going to blur behind it. It'll show motion in it. So I'll put a couple examples up. But the reason I picked this spot, one, we're elevated. Two, we're right next to a highway. The speed limit is 55 on this road. And then we got 3 sets of tracks across the street. One of the sets of tracks is the South Shore Line. The South Shore Line goes from South Bend, Notre Dame, all the way up to Chicago. You can hear it's kind of a busy road. That's another reason why I picked it. Then we have a Norfolk and Southern. That's another line that goes through, so that carries, cargo, freight. And then we have Amtrak over there also. So you get 3 different options, 3 different speeds of trains that are gonna go by. Most of the time, the South Shore is gonna go moderately slow. There's a station right down here. They won't go too slow though. The freight will probably be the slowest, but it's gonna vary in speed. So you to start out, try and pick a little bit higher shutter speed to help yourself out. Right now I'm at 1/60th of a second. So adjust your shutter speed, until you get comfortable with it, and then you can adjust down. So maybe go with 1/125th or 1/250th of a second. Just as long as you can stick with what you want to keep in focus and follow it through your through taking the shots. So I'll give you a little bit of an example. I got this in 1/60th of a second. Not all of them are going to turn out. It's kind of hard to get it to be perfect every single time. It's just practice, practice, practice. So what you're going to want to do, you want to have a stable base, and instead of turning your head, you're going to want to turn your whole upper torso, turn your whole upper half towards the thing that's going by, whatever you're trying to shoot. So we'll wait for a train. I'll wait for something to come by, maybe a cool looking car or something, and we'll try and pan with it. We'll see what happens. I'll bring you back then. All right, one thing I forgot to mention, it's easier to pan when things are farther away than when they're close to you, because you have to really match the speed, and when it's farther away, you don't have to maneuver as fast. So I'll go through the settings real quick. As far as, I have a D7500 that I'll use for this because it's got more shots per second than my Z7. So I got this on continuous high shooting. Shoots 8 frames per second in RAW. So if I got something, I'll burst through it and try to follow it. And what you're hoping for is, at the very least, one of them is sharp. So it might not always happen, If you have a more expensive camera, a better camera that actually shoots more frames per second and has quicker autofocus, you're going to do a lot better. So sometimes it's the equipment does help, you know. I don't have that option. It is what it is. But this is going to help you with tracking birds. You can go out to the shore, you can track slower moving birds like seagulls, things like that, things that are easier to catch. And the more you get used to it, the more you get to moving, the more you get more comfortable with it, then you can move to faster birds. You can move to things that are extremely close to you, fast action sports, things like that. And yeah, just go out and have fun with it. So see what happens. I say you're gonna miss more than you make, especially at first, but the more you do it, the more you become accustomed to it, and it'll be a good time. So you can use this for any kind of artistic technique that you want to try. But we'll see what happens. We'll go through a couple different shots. I'm waiting for some trains to come by. Let's see if we can get, I can hear a train in the background, so I'm going to keep you on for a second. So I'll kind of show you. It sounds like it's coming from this direction. So I'll kind of show you how I do it, and I'll show you what the results were on the back of the camera. This thing's moving extremely slow. I was hoping it would be moving faster, but there is some industry right down the street a few miles, so he might have just taken off. But that's all right. We'll still use it for some practice, right? So I think it's coming to a stop. It's not even worth it. Maybe you can see that he's not even moving. All right. Well, we'll wait for something else. Let's see what happens. There we go. It's not going to show much motion. You can see the train itself is sharp, and then everything else has blur to it. Ultimately, that's what you're going for. Let's continue practicing. We'll see what happens, and I'll put some pictures up just to kind of give you an example. I might put a couple up there so you can see it, you know, the misses. Like I said, it's just a practice. So, bluebird skies, a lot of harsh light, sun's up high. Doesn't mean you can't go out and shoot, can't go out and have fun. A lot of times I might turn these into black and white just simply because of the dynamic range, but we'll see what happens. I'll continue shooting. I'll put a couple up, and I'll see you in a second. All right, I think we have a South Shore train coming, so here we go. Hey, get a nice base. Remember, you want to rotate at the torso. So you can actually see the guy in there operating the train. And you see how everything is blurry, but the train is sharp. That's basically what we're going for. All right, what we're gonna do now, we're gonna try and go after a couple cars. Cars are gonna be a little bit harder because they're closer. The trains are a little bit farther away. If we get another good train in there, then we'll go after that. We'll look for specific cars, maybe something like an exotic car, or, you know, motorcycles, something. Let's say I use this for like deer running through the woods. Now your autofocus is going to go in and out as they're running through if you get trees blocking in front of you. The more expensive camera or the higher end cameras will more likely lock focus on it and you won't lose it as much. You're still going to miss. So don't get discouraged if you're missing a lot or if a lot of them aren't coming out. Keep practicing, keep going, and then you're going to get that money shot. So the deer running through the woods, jumping over a creek bed, anything. Birds flying, coming down, crashing into the water after fish, or something. You only get good if you practice. So hopefully let's get a couple cars and then I'll go ahead and wrap up the video for you, and I'll put a bunch of pictures up. I'll kind of show you what I was talking about and show you the motion in them. And like I said, these aren't doing anything. All we're doing is practicing. So let's see what we can get. There we go. Here's a nice car. It's a Mustang. You see the car. The car is sharp. You got all this blur in the background, so that's what you're looking for. I said, not every one of them is going to be sharp. That looks like a pretty good one right there. So anything that shows the motion in the background and you got the car locked in. So there's a nice one right there. See all that blur? And then the car is perfect. So like I said, just go out and practice. You can practice on birds, you can practice on wildlife running through the woods, practice on cars. Find a place like this where you can kind of sit and relax, go through, change your settings, try to get slower and slower and slower. The slower you go and the more you can pan with the vehicle or with the subject, the blurrier the background is going to be, and there's going to be more motion in that photo. So go out, practice, and have fun with it. I appreciate you coming along. Hopefully this helped you out if you had any questions. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.